Thank you so much for being on. I can't wait to hear all about Wiki-Licious and what you guys do. So would you please do share?
Yes, we sell Hawaii's favorite donut, which is called a malasada. And we teach people how to do it under the cottage law from home mostly, or they can do it and add it to an existing food product if they want to. They had a food truck or an event. So that's
Awesome. Okay. Why and how did this thing all start? What even possessed you to start doing this?
well, I went through a divorce and I had four kids I had adopted from Ukraine and I was homeschooling them and they were just barely learning English. So unfortunately, after the divorce, I was needing to make some more money. And so I wanted something that I could do with my kids. I had a business degree, but I didn't want to go get a job on my own. So I went and researched a bunch of things and decided I would do an event business. So we started Shaved Ice in Alaska, of all things. And so we did great, but it rains a lot in Alaska in the summer. So on those rainy, cold days, we were like, oh, we need something warm to sell to the Alaskans. And we went to Hawaii a lot because, when you live in Alaska, you have to go to Hawaii in the winter to survive the winters.
Mhm.
So I found these delicious malasadas on the islands and I learned how to make them and I brought them back to Alaska and we started selling them and they just sold like crazy and they did wonderful. So it was perfect to shaved ice. And then it was winter and I'm like, oh, we need money during the winter too. We made a lot in the summer, but so I'm like, let's look. I researched the cottage law and I learned how to do it from home. And so I started selling them in Anchorage from home and we got a huge following. And we started making more donuts. My whole kitchen, my house was on Fridays. We do like 100 boxes of donuts from our kitchen. I'm like, okay, it got bigger than we could do. So we got a commercial kitchen where we would make mass. We partnered with donut shops. And finally they were like demanding we open a donut shop and be more available. So we opened the donut shop and that's kind of how I got started. But after, having the donut shop and all the employees and the drama and looking at all the numbers, like while I did great in the donut shop, I missed that little model from home. I thought it was
Mhm.
so great. Like I did fantastic just doing events and partnering with people and just having my home little factory. And so I thought, what a great thing to franchise. And so that's the model I chose when I franchised is how to teach people to do that.
Oh my gosh, Amy, this sounds like a Shark Tank episode, is what this sounds like. What an incredible start. First of all, okay, you've got to be an incredibly proud of yourself. And I've got to say, you're one of the most impressive entrepreneurs that you were able to sell shaved ice in Alaska. Okay, that's pretty cool. I don't know everybody could pull that off.
Yeah, they're really committed to their little piece of Hawaii in the summer. Even when it's pouring rain, they still bought shaved ice. It was
That is awesome. That is awesome. Okay, so first of all, where'd you even get this name from? Wiki-Licious. I love it. It's cute.
Yeah, we started with the word wiki, which was fast, and onalicious, which was delicious. But it was like, well, didn't know anything about creating a business or a brand. And that was too long of a word. Wiki, onalicious. Nobody knew what it meant. So I got an attorney when we franchised and we had to cut it down to one word. And wiki was already taken. So he's like, why don't you just combine the two together? Wiki-Licious. And I'm like, let's do it. So that's how it came about.
That's cool. That is great. That is great.
Fast and delicious-ish.
Yeah. Okay. I know that, entrepreneurship is not easy. We go through tough times. One of the things I really pride myself on this show is my founders that are on here, such as yourself, that we're so transparent. We share about like some of the tough times too. So I'd love for you to share with the audience your entrepreneur journey of the early days and some of the challenges that you faced. Clearly it was one of them, probably trying to get these donuts moved out of the house. But what were some of the challenges early on in the business that you had to overcome?
I think one of the huge challenges is your mindset. It's so easy when hard things come to think, I guess I'll just quit and give up because it's just a mind game I found. So I had to develop this mindset like I am unstoppable. Nothing's going to get in my way. I will always find a way. And I made this little incantation for myself and I was like, okay. And every time something would come up, an employee would quit, the manager would quit, or something would happen, I would be like, I will always find a way. And I feel like that tool alone has really helped me to overcome a lot of the challenges. Because like you say, there's a problem every day that happens or comes up. I mean, we started in COVID. The bakery was rented. I was ready to go and COVID hit right during there. And in that moment, I was like, should I do it or not? And I was so terrified about just starting a business in May, right after COVID. But we followed all the regulations. We decided to go for it and just see what happened. And wow, it was amazing. COVID was great for donuts. People, I guess, like to stress eat.
Yes, of course. And people love to stress eat during COVID for sure.
Turned out a beautiful time.
Did you grow up in an entrepreneurial family? Because this was your first business, right?
Yeah, I had a background in finance, but I didn't have my dad was a dentist, so not too much. But I always just had this love of business and reading books, and I studied it in college. So I taught my kids, who were from Ukraine. So we kind of have a background in the bakery. They came and they wanted stuff, and I wanted to teach them the value of money. So I taught my two daughters how to make bread and sell it to the neighbors. So they used to go peddle their bread to the neighbors and then get money to buy their stuff. And that was really cool. So I guess that was kind of the idea of where some of it came from. Yeah.
Okay. What about this incantation? Where did that come from? How possessed you to know to do that, to give yourself sort of that vote of confidence, especially when you needed it the most?
Yeah, I'm a big reader and I follow a lot of podcasts and stuff in self-development. And so I went to Tony Robbins' Business Mastery. And so he taught me all the tricks about managing your mindset and making an incantation. So I've been using that.
How did I know that was coming, by the way? I'm a big Tony Robbins fan. I've been a fan of Tony for over 30 years. And
oh, really?
I had a feeling we were going there, so I thought I would throw that question out there to see. I thought I would throw the line out there and see if there was going to be a Tony Robbins name drop there. So when did you go to Business Mastery?
Let's see. I've been a lot. Now I'm a senior leader with Tony Robbins. I do it on the side, volunteer. So, gosh, when was my first Business Mastery? Probably, in 2000. It was COVID that got me into Tony Robbins. Somehow I heard about him then. So probably 2021 was my first Business Mastery.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that was that not life-changing or what?
Oh, it's so amazing. Yeah. So
yeah, it is amazing. And so did you also say that you volunteer at events? So you crew?
Yeah, I'm a senior leader currently with Tony Robbins. So.
Oh, congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I tell anybody who's ever been to a Tony event to get an opportunity once you've been to an event to go and crew, because it is completely different. You see things totally, through other people's eyes and helping people through their own challenges. When, if you're going to like crew a UPW, it's a memory I will never forget. When I had done it a few times, it is something else.
It's amazing. And then I'm in a different stage of my business. So every time I go to Business Mastery, I think I've done it 4 times now, I hear something new, something different about the strategy, depending on the stage of my business has been in. But yeah, life-changing for sure. I love
and that's what most people don't understand, is that the reason why we go back is because you're not ready for certain things, or Tony says something that doesn't resonate with you because you're not in that stage of your life or of your business. Yeah. Sure. Oh, that's awesome. All right. Well, no wonder this business is flying high. You're into personal development and you're a go-getter and you're doing these incantations and you're not going to quit. You are a gladiator, aren't you?
I am a gladiator. That's right.
So for folks that don't know Tony Robbins and the gladiator thing, you have to go to Business Mastery to find out what we're talking about. Okay. What do you think? Gosh, I know what makes this business model unique, but what do you think has really allowed this to be so scalable?
Well, I think it's like the story. We have so many great stories, is that anyone can do it, really. I price pointed it because my first franchisee, I have a friend who had a son he has a terminal lung disease. So she couldn't send him to daycare. She couldn't send him to school. She had to homeschool him, but she needed extra money. And so I taught her as my first franchisee. Here, let me help you. You can make money from home. You can involve the kids. And she did great. Now her and her husband do this full time. They're able to do all the flexibility with their son and be there for him. And so that really inspired me. Like, I want anyone to be able to do this. I want it to be life-changing for people. Because, selling donuts and sugar wasn't really so exciting for me. So I'm like, let's change lives while we're at it. My Tony background.
Right.
I made a model where anyone could do it. We have people who are disabled, who haven't been able to work, who do donuts and make great money. We have people that are families, their whole family is involved in it. Some of them employ like 20 members of their family on the weekend, and they do like a bunch of events. And so I guess that's me. It's just making it so anyone who wants to can do it. It's an easy, done-for-you process.
Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com. The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fumey, or Emerging Franchise Group LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.